can we not get this like on TV in front of like national audiences? I just want to do a video on the animation that I released last Sunday. I woke up this morning, I'm recording this on Thursday. I know it's going out on Sunday, but I woke up this morning and checked the figures, and it had reached over 100,000 views across all platforms. It's so incredible, I can hardly believe it. It's like when the animation was finished and I had it and I was waiting for the right time to release it. Like, I always thought it was a good piece. I was always, I was watching it over and over again thinking like, for the most part, we really nailed it and we really did what we set out to achieve. But when it goes out and it gets this type of reaction, I mean, I've never had this type of reaction before. I've never had anything close to this type of reaction before. It's been shared and reshared on the different platforms. And it's just really, really just an incredible thing. Thank you to anybody that shared it. Thank you to anybody that viewed it. The comments have been great. The interaction has been great, and it's just been so well received. One of the great things that seems to come every time I release another piece of work is that it's like the connections. The network grows. There were some big platforms that shared this piece of work, Instagram and Facebook specifically, and now I've exchanged some emails and messages with them. So it's kind of like we build this marketing team, maybe, but build this network. So for future work, these people have mentioned anything that I create, like the bigger projects like this animation, please send to them, and if it works for their pages, they're gonna share it. So this is all great things. I just want to go through some of the animation and just talk about it a little bit. I think it's worthwhile doing that, and I enjoy explaining some of the process that we went through. The script actually is from one of my open mic performances in the early days. So anybody that is now following, that has followed recently, let's say over the last year, maybe you are not aware, but the first time I started sharing publicly wasn't actually online. It was at open mic performances, open mic events in London. I would just go to these events and sign up on the door. You get 5 minutes on stage, and I would share parts of my story. And this evolved and started developing to not just my story, but possible prevention methods, possibly what I think could have been done differently, what would have stopped it, and different angles on the story. So this was one that was always came in strong. So that's why I took it, developed the script a little. I had seen another animation that a guy called Phil Lafferty had done, and it's the mouse animation on YouTube. Please, if you have a moment, go check that animation out. If you were to search the mouse, the Truth Project, it inspired this idea, because I thought, well, how interesting, how great it is that with the animation, it's kind of easier on the eye, it's easier to digest, and also you can kind of warp reality in a way that you can't do with real cameras. Now, I am no expert, and as I just said that, I was like, I'm talking like I'm an expert. I'm not an expert, but you can do things that, of course, you can do things that normal cameras can't do. So that's where the inspiration came. The script came from the open mic nights that I was doing. It was one of the strongest scripts. So I tried to I finalized the script this time last year. Was it this time last year? Yeah, this time last year. I finalized the script and I thought, right, maybe we could turn it into an animation. So I just literally sent it out to every single company I could find on a Google search in the UK. Every single animation company. I received some replies, but the price was just so high. You would never believe how much work actually goes into animation. Before I had done this, I thought, it would be a quick job. It's not a quick job. Even though this animation is 1 minute 36 seconds, it took a year on and off to produce. Many companies got back to me. The price was too high, well over the small budget that I had. But animation company in London called King Bee Animations got back to me, said they liked the idea, said they wanted to be involved, gave me a price. I replied and said, thanks for getting back to me, but it's just way too high. Maybe I just forget about this idea. And then Martin, the owner of the company, replied and said, look, we can help you out. I'm forever thankful that they did that. So we started the process. We created a storyboard. I was working with one of the employees there called Emily. We created the storyboard. We developed the storyboard. We started developing the characters. We adjusted the look of the characters. How does the abuser look? How do I look? Do they look the right age? Does it give the right feel? We played around with the black and white situation, the black and white colours in the animation. It's a long development process. It's a very long development process. We didn't know how we wanted the characters to move, so we do test animations. They take a month or so to create, and it's a long drawn out process. But what I've learned now is it brings a quality product. Something that was very interesting was the script that I've mentioned I wrote over a year ago. Now, when I look back at it, there are some things that I would change. And I'm finding this with lots of the bigger projects, the bigger videos that I do, because the script is written, developed, and then locked, frozen, so that the rest of the work can happen. But as the rest of the work can happen, as the months go on, I'm also continuing this project in the other areas. So the way I like to write or the way I like to communicate is developing. So when I look back at the old scripts, which essentially this is now an old script, there's always bits that I want to change. I find it a bit frustrating because I can't change them. And I feel like that bit could be a bit better. But that's something that I've got to live with. And I think that's just part and parcel of what this is. I just need to check whether I press record on the camera. So that's just part and parcel of what this is. So I wanted to just quickly talk about a couple of the bits that I would have changed. I'm not sure if that's in my head and you guys aren't thinking, everybody that's watching is not thinking the same. Possibly, I'd like to find out actually. Because one of the lines that I say is, children go many places where they are looked after by different adults. Sports clubs and other friends' houses being some examples. I'm just not sure whether they are the correct examples to use. Because now I think about it a bit more, those examples that I've used where children are going somewhere without their parents, sports clubs and other friends' houses, they are positive places for children to go. I didn't want people to start... I hope it hasn't made any parents like not wanting to send their children anywhere. I'm sure it didn't, right? And I'm overthinking it. But, you know, maybe I could have used 2 different examples. Maybe there were cleverer examples to be used there. But on the flip side of that, I also wanted... The reason why I put those examples in is because I wanted to show that children do go places where they are where parents are not there, where they are looked after by different adults. Like, you can't follow your child around 24/7. It's impossible. So when they are on their own, they do need the knowledge. They do need to know where the private areas are on their body, and if anybody touches them there, that they are to tell somebody. So yeah, if I was to do that again, maybe I would experiment. I'll play around with using different ideas, because they're 2 things that we want children to do more. Go round friends' houses and play and interact and socialise. Go to sports clubs and have fun and exercise. And so yeah, I just don't know. I don't know if they were the right scenes. I'd be interested in what people say about that. Another thing that I wasn't so sure of was when the child is sitting at the dinner table, and I say, you know, these conversations are not being had. And then I say, and the problem is, I still don't think the conversations are being had with children. And then the picture changes to the parents on their phone. I feel like possibly, well, when I wrote it, it kind of was a bit of a dig at the lack of conversation in family homes. It kind of was... but again, I try my hardest for my work not to be an attack. Yeah? I try my hardest for my work not to be like pointing the finger in a way that's like, that could get a response from somebody being like, who the hell does this guy think he is? And this phone moment possibly is one of those moments. Especially when I recorded the voiceover, and I'm like, and the problem is, I still don't think there are conversations being had with you. I think possibly there was too much emphasis on it. But again, possibly people who are viewing it thought it was the right thing to put in there. I hope maybe it just got people thinking. So I was really, really pleased with the way that the animation built up. The guy that did this to me was around 25 at the time. So I think the way we've portrayed him, the way we've illustrated him, the way Emily has cleverly illustrated him is right. Because he does look young here. And especially at this opening scene where I'm looking up at him, it's quite clear that I'm a child that looks up to this young man, right? He's not some old 60-year-old creepy guy that we always think paedophiles are. So I think that was really cleverly done. I think the opening is you're straight in the story. There's no real messing around there. And we're straight in. We're playing video games. We're playing football. So we can see that it's a friendship. Now, I think one of the saddest and darkest scenes is this where I'm sitting on the bed with him and the door is closing. I'm not sure how sad it made people feel because I've seen it 1,000 times, right? I think the way we changed the black and white, we reversed the black and white. So this scene in particular is mostly is black with the white lines, as opposed to white with the black lines, which is the rest of the animation. It's a harrowing image, isn't it? He's got his arm around me. We're sitting on the end of the bed, and the door is closing. And that's how it was. You know, that's how it was. I don't remember him being like, let's go to the bedroom, but we ended up in the bedroom and we ended up sitting on the end of the bed and things would start. So it really replicates how it really was. I think it's a strong image. Yeah, and then the whole thing continues. So I make a point about education in this animation. That's very important to me, and I think very important to everyone. Yes, we are trying to hammer home the message of speaking to your children, opening the conversations in the home. It's so important. It's the thing that's available to everybody. But also we're looking for these things to start coming into schools. I don't know how much of it is in schools at the moment. I know when I think about when I was at school, you know, which was a long time ago, there was no conversations about these things. Like, there was no conversations about these things. I wonder what it's like now. I'm going to absolutely guess that it's still tiptoed around. It shouldn't be tiptoed around. It's happening everywhere. So maybe just in the future, as I develop more content, it would be great to create a piece that is suitable to be shown in schools. Could you imagine that? We could create a piece of work, possibly animation, possibly film, video kind of style, that is school friendly and get it into the education system. That would be a great thing. That would be a great thing. Yeah, that would be a great thing. I also think, well, actually, I always knew that the transition at the end of the animation was powerful, where we zoom into me as a child and then zoom out and I'm then the adult. I really, really like that. That's a clever idea. I'm really pleased because I feel like it it finishes off the animation. And then, you know, it's the story that we've just been telling has been somebody who's been through it. And I feel like it kind of gives the animation some extra validity, if that's the right word, because it's coming from somebody who is speaking their experience. So it's kind of like, please listen. I think that's a powerful moment at the end. So overall, I'm just so pleased with the result. It feels like it's almost a flagship piece now for this project moving forward. It feels like it's a piece now that when I come across a big YouTube channel or a podcast or a radio station that I think possibly would share either the animation or have me on to speak, this would be the piece that I put forward to them. It used to be the video that I did where I documented what happened when I knocked on this guy that did this to me, when I knocked on his door. But this one's better because it's softer in a way. Because the one where I'm knocking on his door has still got the open court case and all of that complication. I think some people get a bit scared because it's got police involvement. But this one is kind of it's kind of clean, a clean story. I just don't know if I've got that, if I'm describing it right, but it hasn't got any complications if they were to share it on their platform. So where do we go from here? I have spent a lot of time over the last 2 or 3 days sending this to everybody that I have been connected with or got to know since I started doing this project. I've now finished that list. I've also done lots of like keyword searches into Instagram and Facebook and sent it to people. You know, I've done keyword searches looking for like parenting accounts, child abuse accounts, survival of trauma accounts, and I've just sent it to hundreds of people. And now I am thinking about where to go next. The response has been so incredible that I'm thinking now, well, can we not get this like on TV? Can we not get this in front of like national audiences? And the reason why I think that is possible is shows like Good Morning Britain, Loose Women, the morning shows that are like on the BBC. I know that survivors or activists for this subject have got on there before. So I have this morning actually sent this to all the email addresses that are available on these websites like ITV's or BBC's, but I'm not sure whether these emails ever reach anybody. So really, if anybody is listening that has any contacts with TV, has any contacts with newspapers or other types of media, or if you watch or follow a YouTube channel that you think would want to hear, would share this animation or want to hear my story, or you follow anybody on Instagram that has a following, please let me know, because I'll write to them, because they may share it. If they've shared work like this in the past, or similar in the past, they may share this one or may want to have me on to chat about it. Because I don't think I should stop just after I've finished my list of connections, sending this to my list of connections. I don't think I should stop there, because I think this piece has enough quality just to spend a bit more time trying to promote it. It's like a mini campaign.